What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Lycan and why this hero is an absolute monster in patch 7.39b, and you guys should definitely be picking this hero if you want to climb up and be winning a lot more MMR. So this hero right now is mostly being played from the offlane with a few picks in the mid lane and a very situational carry, because I think Lycan does very well against a lot of the carries in the patch. However, the hero just seems to not be able to hold his own that well in the ultra late game against some other super hyper carries like Terrorblade, maybe Faceless Void, and heroes of this nature. But when it comes to being an offlaner and mid laner, the hero does very well. You're able to sustain in the lane even against very hard matchups. You're able to just stay in the lane, farm, get your items, and you're able to just farm out supports constantly. So the way I usually like to pick Lycan is when I see a very weak backline. So heroes like Warlock, heroes like Disruptor, Silencer, these types of heroes that I could easily shapeshift and take them out. This is the type of lineup I want to go up against as a Lycan, because I don't really like to focus beefy cores. You're not going to be taking them out quickly, and you really aren't interested in doing that. That's what the carry is going to be focused on. Your job as a Lycan from the offlane is going to be picking off that backline. Facets like Pack Leader easily allow you to do that, because every time you get a pick off, whether it's from your units or from your hero, it'll extend your shapeshift duration, which is very important, because if you're snowballing and you're getting multiple kills throughout the fight, or your summons are, it's going to extend your shapeshift and you're going to be active a lot longer in the fight. And also what's very important is your summons actually get the same amount of movement speed and crit as the Lycan does, so your summons are a lot stronger. So you want to be using the Pack Leader Facet, because you're going to be snowballing a lot better, and you can easily run around the map with your summons, getting pickoffs, especially with how good some of these summons are, especially the mini ravage creep. That creep is absolutely fantastic, so you guys should be picking that up, or the centaur or the black dragon. All those creeps are really nice for Lycan to be able to pick up, take control, and really start snowballing the game. And he's a hero that is a little bit greedy. However, the hero can push tempo and build auras. There is item builds like Vlad's, like Pipe, like Crimson Guard that you can build on the Lycan if your team really needs this aura buyer. Lycan can definitely provide that. Now, most people don't like that type of build because they like getting a lot of pickoffs with Lycan, and when you're picking up a lot of auras, you're not really doing a whole lot of damage, but you are sustaining for your team. Sometimes it's not about you, it's about the team and what's going to benefit the team the most. But let's talk about your standard build for the offlane if you're choosing the Pack Leader Facet. So your typical build is going to be rushing Helm of the Overlord. That is pretty standard. You are a summons hero, you want to be playing Helm of the Overlord, and then you're going to be going into an Assault Cuirass or a BKB. It really depends on what you need. If there's a lot of stuns or there's just a lot of heavy magic damage, you want to be picking up that BKB. But if you can get away with not having a BKB, Assault Cuirass is the way to go. It is such a fantastic item on the Lycan. Helps your summons do more damage. It's a lot more minus armor. Pair it up with your howl, and maybe if there's a Deso buyer on your team, you're going to be doing a lot of damage along with your teammates thanks to all that minus armor. And then you can pivot back to items like Aghanim Scepter to help out your team with Wolf Bite, or you can get Nullifier or a Harpoon to help you catch some squishy supports that might have Force Staff. Nullifier is a really good idea on the Lycan, especially because you target the backline the most, and that is pretty much your job in every single fight. You need to have an item like Nullifier, because they will have Force Staffs, they will have Yule Scepters, they will have items to try and kite you out. That is what the Nullifier is for, to make sure you're not getting kited out and you are continuing to get pickoffs while in your shapeshift. That way it can keep extending the timer and you can keep running around hasted in the fight, which is very important. It's very hard to catch this hero if there's no real lockdown on the enemy team. Lycan can just run around going crazy doing whatever he wants. You also have your wolves to scout out, which is very underrated. A lot of people, they just tend to just push the lanes with the wolves and kind of just leave it the way it is. You can easily start sending your wolves around the map and just keeping them there as kind of like a ward. I do this all the time. I will keep them on the high ground, especially if I want to go to a high ground and I don't want to risk anything. I can just easily put that wolf up there, get that vision. I can deny runes with them. There's a lot of things and different plays you can make with these wolves, and sometimes throughout the lane you don't really want to do too much and you want to just send the wolves to the support if they can't deal with it. Some of these supports have no wave clear and cannot handle having level 3 or level 4 wolves on top of them constantly picking at them, and you can easily start chonking them down. So heroes like Witch Doctor that are very squishy can't really deal with these summons too well, neither can heroes like Warlock. So you want to be keeping those wolves on them constantly and forcing the enemy carry to actually help out their support if they want to be able to take these wolves out. Now, yes, you will be feeding a few wolves here and there, but I think it's still a really good trade at the end of the day, because they will be having to buy a lot of regen and they're not going to be taking any favorable trades against you. Let's talk about some of the best and worst matchups for the Lycan. So some of the best best matchups are heroes like Warlock, Silencer, Arc Warden, Treant Protector, Grimstroke, Anti-Mage. So these heroes you do very well up against, and you can easily just stomp them in the lane, especially weaker supports like I mentioned before, heroes like Warlock, Silencer, Grimstroke. These heroes that have very low armor, very low HP pools, you're able to take them out very easily. Now I do want to say Lycan is the type of hero that likes playing with active playmakers. So heroes like Invoker, heroes like Tusk, heroes that like to be active around the map setting up plays is heroes that Lycan likes to go with around the map when he does want to be active. Also heroes like Lich provide a really nice protection for the Lycan to be going deeper into enemy lines and potentially taking much more favorable trades. Overall, supports of this nature are going to increase your win rate on the Lycan. And some of the bad matchups are heroes like Sven, Necrophos, Naga Siren, Kunkka, Phantom Assassin, pretty much heroes that can clean up your summons very easily or that have a lot of burst physical damage. Heroes like Phantom Assassin, once they hit their peak timing, they will be able to take care of your summons very easily, and the Lycan just doesn't really fare too well up against it unless you're going for carry Lycan and you already have that Monkey King bar with that Assault Cuirass and you're doing a lot of right click damage. You could go toe to toe against the Phantom Assassin, however it needs to be something that you're playing for that physical right click build. If you're just playing regular auras or you're playing for that team fight, you're not going to be really taking care of heroes like that. And heroes like Kunkka are very popular in the meta. They can just take your summons out very easily, and that's something you don't want to do because once you have Helm of the Overlord, that creep is worth a lot of gold and you don't want to be feeding these. I see it happening on some of the newer Lycan players, and feeding away these creeps, guys, is not like feeding away wolves. Feeding away wolves from time to time is not really a big deal. It's not a huge amount of gold, but feeding away one of your ancients is going to be a lot of gold for the enemy team, and that's something you don't want to do. So at all costs, try not to feed them, or what a lot of people like to do, they'll push that creep to its limits and they'll push it against the tower, push it against the enemy team, and then they'll just be ready to repossess another creep. That way they don't get the gold. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think about Lycan this patch? If you guys have been playing Lycan and you guys have been enjoying the hero. I've recently been picking him up a lot more often, but there's a lot of good heroes in the meta to be picking. I just think Lycan does a very good job. If they don't have any wave clear, you're able to take them out very easily. And again, if they have a fragile backline, Lycan is a really good pick. However, if they have a bunch of beefy cores, just a bunch of lockdown in general, and a lot of like toxic heroes, as I like to say, it's not really going to be too fun to be playing the Lycan. So please make sure you guys are playing him into the right matchups and the right games, because this is just not a hero that you want to be picking up first phase blind picks. The hero's strong, but he's definitely not broken. I think he's pretty balanced right now, and you will be winning some MMR off the back of this hero if you know how to play Lycan. However, again, it all comes down to matchups, and you need to have good matchups and good lane to be playing with this hero. Otherwise, if you do get shut down, your team's not really going to be getting that snowball action from you until very late into the game, and that's not really what you're looking for when you're picking up this hero. But definitely let me know in the comments below if Lycan is your favorite hero. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys learned something, consider subscribing and joining the Dota Chronicles community. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.